20 seconds to go and then we'll get started. We'll have a little look around the outside of Dynamic Earth and get the view at the back, which should have been lovely. 2 more weeks you're at home. Well, that's exactly. You've got to have a giggle every now and again. Right, okay. So, if anybody's late coming, we've waited till the start time for them. Right, so where we are today, because I don't normally do it on a tour, like I said, I thought I'll bring you around and show you Dynamic Earth, just because it's one of those places that doesn't normally get a mention. But I like the way they've done it. They've kind of taken you through the reason it's here, the geology and things. And we've also got the Scottish Parliament from the back end here, which I'll show you as well. So, so this is just a little 15 minutes. It's not going to be too long, this one. But just to get your bearings, where we are, that's the Scottish Parliament from the back end. And as we look at it here, you see these lines going up. That's meant to represent like grass or, plant life growing. And that's in concrete, so this is all polished concrete. So, and it actually follows it right the way around. And then as we come over, I'm trying to move without going too fast because I've got you zoomed in. From here, you can see this part you'll kind of recognise because you've seen it from the other side. But you can see that curved shape at the top. That's one of the upturned ships. It's meant to look like the hulls of ships that have been upturned. And then through the gap, the older building you can see, that's Queensberry House. Now, I do speak about that on a couple of my tours. But from here you can see that the little part has a grey slate roof and the other part of the roof has red pan tiles. And this is what always distresses me. When they were building the Scottish Parliament, the architect wanted to take Queensberry House down, but it dates to the 1650s. So he didn't get his way. And so what he did was he took off the beautiful, very expensive slate roof and put on these red pan tiles. Now, red pan tiles were used as ballast in ships to hold them low in the water whilst they came across to get goods to go back to where they came from. So it always grates on me because it's the Dukes of Buccleuch were one of the largest landowners in Scotland, so they were incredibly rich, and there's no way they would have had pan tiles on their roof because it's a cheap roofing material. But anyway, enough of that. So we're looking at the back of the Parliament. Now, these things that look like hair dryers or Skelex triggers, actually, those are meant to represent possibly drapes on the outside of the building, like curtains, or they could actually be the M shape of the architect, Morales. So we're not quite sure because unfortunately he died before it was completed. So there's a lot of symbolism on the building that we don't actually know what it stands for. So this is City Sightseeing. That's the tour bus that does all the different languages. So we're coming into Dynamic Earth, which is what I actually brought you here to see. A lovely picnic area at the front here. Now, do you see the benches? They're all rainbow colours. So it's nice and colourful. Dynamic Earth's for the kids, but it's also for the adults too. There's actually lots of information inside that is definitely suitable for adult entertainment as well. And they do corporate events here at night and things. So Dynamic Earth, the reason it's here, it's our Millennium Project, and it's also to remind us of the geology which is behind it. So Salisbury Crags is dolerite intrusion, and then you've got Arthur's Seat at the other side. I'll just show you past the bus because the bus is actually blocking our view now. Arthur's Seat is an extinct volcano, so it's to remind us of the origins of the Earth, the geology, the changes that it went through. But they do have a nice little notice board here that kind of shows you how the outside. Oh, Gimbal, where are you going? Come back. Sorry about that. How the outside is laid out. So you've got a slice through Scotland, which I will show you. It's on the other side. Then we have the Stones of Scotland, or Scotland's Journey, and then you've got the Geo Garden, and you've got the steps, and it goes all round. But what I'm going to do is take you up one side, and then we'll come down the other side and have a look at it. So as we come up the path, I like the way they've done this. We've got the different rock types in Scotland, so you can see the different kinds of rock as we go. I will take you over and let you see here. So Scotland in the beginning, Lewisian gneiss is the oldest rock, one of the oldest rocks in Scotland, and they were formed 2,800 million years ago. Okay, so we're very lucky, because if you're into geology, we have an amazing geological past, to be fair. So this is Lewisian gneiss, okay? And what I like that they've done here, so you've got the Precambrian, and it's showing you Lewisian gneiss 2,800 million years ago, so circa. So on the path, as you walk up here, you have the history as well. And the nice thing is it's accessible, because you have the path on one side and the stairs on the other, so you know, most people can get in with prams. And here we've got Torridonian sandstone. Only 1,100 million years ago it was laid down, so Precambrian again. But I'll let you see the sandstone. It's got quite a nice kind of pinky hue to it, this one. Even when it's wet, it's quite pretty. So I'll just come back a little bit so you can get it in there. And then it's got a wee bit of the history of it just here. Okay, and then I'll just move it up to show you roughly where it came from. It's quite good the way they've done this. I quite like it. And so that's your geogarden there. So that's Dynamic Earth, the big armadillo shaped. In there they've got everything that's like to do with the history of the world, but they've got like a mini iceberg and an earthquake machine and all sorts of it here. Cambrian and what is that? Ordovician? I can't say it. Anyway, there you are. So this is, it's a baby. 545 million years ago. Dalradian schist. So Dalriada is over on the west coast, and is where like the kings of Scotland were crowned at one point back in the day. So let me think now. I think what's his name? Craig in the Highlands took us to Kilmartin Glen, and Dalriada, the crowning place, is just down from there. So again, so this is the Dalriadan schist. And then the little map showing you where it all started. So the little dot is where it came from, and then you have all the countries before they haven't finished moving. They're still moving, but before they are what we know them today as. So here you can see colliding continents. Right. And then that's the next stage is just here. Greywacke. Oh. So there again you can see the changes going on and where it came from. It's quite a pretty stone. It's kind of, I'll see if you can see, it's almost sort of slate-like in the way that it's these wee thin layers that are coming off. Devonian, 417 million years ago. Oh, sorry, wait a second, I forgot to show you the picture. I must have forgot to show you here. So this is Caithness flagstone. I have taken you up to Caithness. We did it a few times last year, and the rock comes off in very flat bedding planes. So here's I'm going to have to stand back because it's quite a tall stone. So here's the stone itself. And there's the information. That one's quite worn, but if we come to the side we might be able to see. Nature's taken over at the top there. It's like lichens and things. And here we have the Carboniferous limestones. Now these ones are cool because they've got things in them. I'm hoping you can see the shapes. I've forgotten what these wee things are called, but you can see them. I'm hoping you can see the detail. Let me see. I'm trying to see if I can find one that's really sticking out for me. Well, actually, that one right there. Hold on 2 seconds. This one here. Hopefully, it's not fuzzing, but you can see the little lines going right the way around in a circle there. And they're all different sizes, they're all different shapes. And it's just amazing because you don't realise fossils, yeah, but it's a specific kind of fossil and I've forgotten what the name of it is. Well, that one's actually that one's got quite a good detail on it. Hopefully you can see that. But I've forgotten what the name is. And that looks like it's like a little bit of maybe quartz in there. Alright, actually here it might say on here, let me see. Shallow seas, coral being limestone, quartz-rich sandstone. There you are. So that was quartz that we saw. In fact, there's some quartz there. You see the white part? You've got the quartz. And this stone up at the top has some interesting inclusions in it as well. But this is free to come and look at. You don't have to go into Dynamic Earth. You can just walk along and you get to see all this. I'll just be a second while I let this group past. So we've got the desert sandstone, which is the red sandstone. We usually refer to it as red sandstone. Now, desert sandstone is exactly what it is. It was laid down in deserts, and that's why you get this colour. Whereas Edinburgh sandstone, the creamy colour you see, was laid down in shallow lagoons, so under the water when it was created. So Glasgow has a lot of red sandstone buildings. Edinburgh's red sandstone buildings are usually us showing off, going, look, we could afford to transport the stone. But I'll just bring you in here. So this 290 million years ago. So you do have if I'm going to try and show it, but you can see the bedding planes running across, okay? Now as we come up, right, you keep going up. Now you see the change, you can see the change coming in, it's running down at an angle now. And then we're going almost horizontal again. So it's quite nice, you can see the bedding planes in it. Now we're still moving through time. Jurassic in the Cretaceous period. So there we go again. And this is Jurassic limestone that we're looking at now. So it's, yeah. So you've got all the different kinds. And there we've got the information about it. When dinosaurs ruled the earth, 206 to 65 million years ago. And I'll just pull out so you can get the little map on the top there as well. You know, if you're interested in this sort of thing, it's quite a cool place. But it's Paleogen and Neogen, whatever that, I'm not quite up on that one. So we have basalt lava. Right. And this is 65 to 1.8 million years ago. So basalts, we've got lots of basalt and lots of dolerite here. Basalt's usually, I think, underground and the dolerite's above the ground. And just here I'll let you see the map. Hi Hilary, we're just having a little look at Dynamic Earth, the outside of it. I'm not even going to attempt this one, okay? So you can work that one out for yourself. So we've got the glacial erratics, and you will see boulder erratics all over Scotland with the movement of the ice carrying big rocks and putting them in strange places. So here we've got one of them. But you can see, look at the bedding planes in that. You can see all these twists and turns, and yeah, this rock has been through a lot in its lifetime. So yeah. Now in the summertime there's usually something going on in the centre of Dynamic Earth. They sometimes have displays or little videos and things like that. So I'm just going to let you look back at where we've just... See, and it's, I mean, the Royal Mile is just up there. It's on the other side of those buildings. But like I say, that you never normally come and see this. And I thought, well, I'll let you have a look. You might like it, you might not. The building over here was where the Scotsman newspaper was published once it moved from the Scotsman, what is now the Scotsman Hotel in North Bridge. But it's now All Points North or 5 Points North or something. They make computer games like Grand Theft Auto and that kind of thing. So there's Salisbury Crags, and you've got Dynamic Earth just here. And I love this. Right, I'll try and get it at the right angle for you. Okay, so the past is the key to the future. And there you can see the future is the Scottish Parliament. Quite well done. So the visitor centre, you can see there's a cafe just through the windows there. There's also like a sort of planetarium thing. There's information about how the Earth was created. There's lots of fun things for the kids to do. So you can like the earthquake machine, you jump on it and it tells you how much of an earthquake you've made. There's like a little theatre thing you go into, and you go through a volcano, and you get to touch on a mini iceberg and all that kind of thing. So there's lots in here, but it's not just for the kids. The adults can also have a good time with it as well. So I'm just walking you around outside, because again, people don't realise you can actually walk around the outside of Dynamic Earth. They think it's just the front bit there. It's on your list in May. Well, I like it, and especially if it's raining, you're indoors. So the Dynamic Earth itself it is a charity, so it's the Dynamic Earth Charitable Trust. And part of it was the Millennium Project. The walls that we're walking on, I'm going to show you one in a minute. So yeah, it was opened by Queen Elizabeth in 1999 as her Millennium Project, and we're just seeing. See, that's the other thing. They don't expect people to come round, even though you can, and you get to see all their machinery. But yeah, so yeah, it's basically its position is where James Hutton came up with a lot of his ideas. He actually lived not too far from here, just along this way, just along here. But if we were to just go round the corner at Salisbury Crags, if we were up there and we walked round the corner, we'd actually see Hutton's Rock, and then further on towards the other side of Salisbury Crags, you would see Hutton's section, and he understood Hutton's section and how it had formed, but he didn't understand Arthur's Seat, the volcano, so he didn't really talk about it. So it's, and that yellow flower you're seeing actually is gorse, just as we're coming along here. The cost to get in for adults is $17.50, children's $10.95, and concessions, if you're over 60, the concession is £15.20. So yeah, concessions are always worth asking if you've gotten to a certain age, because you usually will get some sort of little discount. So we're in Holyrood Park. We're just walking along here. This was used for grazing sheep. It was used for cultivation. On the other side of the park, we've actually got cultivation terraces. It's been used for practicing archery. You've got to imagine there was lots of trees here before it was forested for a long time, and so you'd be hunting and pleasure fishing, all sorts of things. Now, I'm just trying to avoid showing you until we get closer, but here we are. So you see this turreted building. Queen Victoria, when she stayed at the palace, didn't like the fact there was a brewery opposite the palace. She didn't think it was good. It wasn't nice to look at, so she made them build a castellated wall around it. So the old brewery looked like a castle from the outside because of Queen Victoria. And this is one of the bits that was left when they redeveloped the land here for the Scottish Parliament and then Dynamic Earth. Yes. So James Hutton, I'm just going to hopefully get you close enough that you can take a screenshot and read this later. So that's just showing you the father of modern geology. I think they're pretty much convinced he was dyslexic because his handwriting was atrocious. But yeah, so it was by studying landforms like Salisbury Crags and here we've got Sicker Point that he came up with his theories. So yeah. So that's the Scottish Parliament part of the garden there, the open garden, public garden space. I just think that's such a brilliant picture. You know, it's an angle we don't normally get. But anyway. And then here we've got Hutton and Arthur's Seat. And this is Hutton's section. It's not the best picture of it. I'm going to let you get the whole thing in first and then I'm going to close up on it for you. Okay, so you should be able to take a postcard of that. Now when we come in here, you've got Jane's Hutton, right? And then here, this picture, this is Hutton's section. So you see you've got this line and it's going up the way. If you were to stretch that out, that would flip down and go into the space here and the bedding planes would be in a straight line. So it's showing that there's definitely an upward movement that's been caused by something. So by studying this, he realised, yes, the world, he still believed in God and that God had created the world, but that it had taken longer than we thought. So yeah. And here, this is what Arthur's Seat would have looked, well, the drawing is the size of it, that we would have seen the original volcano, and then you have the ice movement that scraped a lot of it away. So yeah, you can see the big vent there, and you can see Salisbury Crag's intrusive sill, because it's a completely dolerite intrusion. It's a completely different feature to the actual volcano. So I'm going to show you that, and I'll just come round. So you've got Arthur's Seat and things over there. Okay. It's a very fancy wall, you know, just to make it look pretty for a queen. But anyway, I'll just let you have a little look over the wall. We might as well since we're here. There, that's actually not too bad. And then you've got the sort of amphitheatre garden type thing going on down here as well. We're nearly round. I said this was only going to be 15 minutes. Sorry, it's going to be a wee bit longer. I hope you're all right. If you've got to nip off, I totally understand. But this is just telling you about Dynamic Earth and the Charitable Trust. So I'll let you take a screenshot and then you can have a wee look at it later if you're interested. And then some of the sponsors and donors that have left decent money for it. There. So you can understand why Queen Victoria wanted to disguise the brewery, because there's the palace right in front of us. You know, there's no hiding it, it's right there. So yeah, but I'm just going to take us back round and then we'll have a little look at the other side before I let you go. I totally misjudged time-wise this one. I thought, oh, it's only going to take me 15 minutes. Oops. They actually have a little soft play in Dynamic Earth as well, right next to the shop. So if you've got really small kids, there's something for everyone here, you know, adults and the kids. So I'm just going to quickly go over to this part here just to show you. Oh, there's the rain started again. So that's where we started, just over there. We've basically just walked round in a loop. But as you look at this is like an amphitheatre, a proper performance area. Sadly, because of health and safety and people not taking responsibility sometimes for themselves, they've had to put in all these metal railings and barriers because people would be silly and fall, which is a shame because it takes away from what they were trying to do slightly, but it's better to be safe. And like I say, you don't have to walk down the steps, or is that path we've just walked up. I have been here when there's been a choir singing, and it's absolutely amazing. It's a lovely space. So all sorts of things take place here. So we're just... Sorry, it's raining now. And then we've got this lovely, and again this has had to be protected, we've got this beautiful sculpture of the birds. And here we are, just showing the map again, but you can see we're on the other side. And this section here is like it shows you like an image of it going through. Yeah, it does. Yeah, it was really handy there. Actually, I'll go down this way. I was going to go down the other stairs, but I'll come down this one. Yeah, all the open top buses come here. So it is quite handy that way. The city sightseeing, which is the one that's here at the moment, that is the one that has all the different languages on. So it doesn't have a live guide. So if you get on that one, you tend to have to wait whilst the languages go through their little play, because some languages are much quicker than others. So it's kind of hard to see, but you've got the Scottish borders and the River Tweed is what we're looking at here. So this is the southern uplands. So let you see that, if you could take a wee picture, and then as we come back out, try and see if you can, there. And then we've got the Midland Valley. So we've got the Firth of Forth just up here. Okay. Then we've got some hills, and then you've got the River Tay. There is more, but it's because it's raining, it's really hard to see. But you can see all the different deposits, the different kinds of rock that they've got going on here. So it's showing you the different sections. Gentle folding, it wasn't too violent round here. Now here, here you've got the Grampian region. So I'll let you get a close-up of that so you can get a picture. And you can see there's much more going on here. We had lots of mountain building and stuff happening here. So it's a lot of folding, and quite violent folding, and pieces coming in as well. So I'm just trying to let you see it all. It's difficult to get it all in from here. We're kind of too close, but if we were further back you wouldn't be able to see the detail. Right, and then here we've got the Northern Highlands. So you can see the section on the plan, the map of Scotland there. And you can see the different things that have happened. It's not quite as ferocious, but there's still a lot going on, is next door. And then here we've got the Hebridean, slightly, again, different rock forms going on here. Oh, I didn't let you see the actual... There you go. So if it comes to geology, you know, people coming to visit Scotland, they're often surprised by how old our geology is. So you've got the Minch there, and then we're just looking over at the Isle of Lewis with the Lewisian gneiss, which is the oldest rock. Right, okay, so we are just about done. I didn't think I would fill half an hour, but yep. So here's the centre of the Earth with dynamic Earth at the back, and you know, it's just a beautiful place, even just to walk around. I mean, when it's sunny, it's a great place to sit for a picnic, because you just take one, you know, you just sit in the amphitheatre part and you can picnic away. Well, I love geology. If you understand what's underneath your feet, you understand what's above the ground, you know. And of course you've got the picnic benches I showed you there, and you can see there is disabled access to it, so it's a kind of all-round nice one. I'm just going to walk us through to the front of the Parliament. The signal may go. If it does, don't worry about it. It is a piece of art. It really is. But I'm just checking the signal whilst you're on. Yeah. So that was my little 15-minute snippet that lasted quite a while. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed it. And it's just nice to be able to show you little off the beaten track things, even though it's not really off the beaten track, but it's just one of those overlooked places to visit. Right, and again, if you get down to the Parliament, this is the way you get to Dynamic Earth. It's really easy. You just kind of walk along the side and you're here. Oh, I'm glad you enjoyed it, Dustin. Thank you. I know. Never let it be said I finished a tour on time. Anyway, I'm just wanting to let you see the wall from the outside. But I think the trees, even though they don't have any leaves on them at the moment, are too thick for you to see it. So that's the castellated bit that we were standing up at, just through the trees there. So if we look at the side, that's the wee pepper pot turret thing we saw as well. So you can see how, Queen Victoria's gone, make it look like a castle. And so they have. Yeah, Queen Victoria had some really strange ideas, but she also had some interesting ones as well. So just so you get your bearings, and then I'm going to let you go. Here we are. That's us. So you've got the Palace of Holyrood House just in front of us there, the water features for the Scottish Parliament, and then that's us looking towards Abbey Strand in the bottom of the Royal Mile. Right, I hope you enjoyed that. I didn't actually think it was going to last that long. I thought, 15 minutes, but here we are. Oh, good. Right, well, I'll put some more little sort of these little things on. I don't think I've got anybody new on today but I don't always see everyone that joins. But just a quick recap. Each time I do one of these, it'll be in a different place. And there's no guaranteeing length. If I think one's going to be particularly long, I will put it into the app and say this one I think is going to be an hour or whatever. But I honestly thought this would only be about 15 minutes, so I completely overran that one. And I didn't think I'd be able to make a half-hour tour out of it, but it did work quite well. So yeah, I'm glad you let me practice on you. Thank you very much. Right, enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you at some point. Okay, right, bye. Thanks everyone.